drivers that's looking to drive for owner operator or fleet owners. If you're going to drive for a fleet owner, it's a lot different from driving for, say, a mega carrier. And they're also different if you're running for a fleet owner with his own authority or a fleet owner leased on to a carrier. If it's a fleet owner leased on to a carrier like Swift or one of those carriers, he might be able to pay you per mileage pay and it work out. But if you're running for a fleet owner that's leased on to a carrier like one of those carriers that the fleet owner get paid by the load and not by the miles, meaning like if you are the mega carrier that pay by the miles, say you're at Swift, say they pay $1.15 a mile. So the lease owner have a truck over there, well, not say a lease owner, but the fleet owner have like a truck over there or two trucks over there, and you're running for him, and he decided to pay your mileage. It's more, I wouldn't say it's better, but it probably look better on paper. Now, if you're running for a fleet owner that's leased on to a carrier that's pulling broker loads that get paid by the load. For example, he have a load going 500 miles and they pay $1,500 or $1,800, whatever. So it's not really based on the miles. They don't have a set rate per mile. It's by the load. When you're working for a fleet owner like that, you want to try and get paid percentage. It work out a lot better for you as a driver because you don't have to be chasing miles. Now, running for a fleet owner, we dealing with the brokers. It's not like, I'm going to reference back to Swift. If I'm a fleet owner at Swift and I have a driver going to, say, Walmart DC in Monroe, Georgia, he get there, his appointment 12 o'clock, he get there at 11 o'clock, they check him in and stuff like that. He end up sitting there until like 4 o'clock. So right there, he'll get 2 hours detention pay. So no matter what, he got there early, they held him up there, so he qualified for a detention pay as long as he write the times on his bill of lading and whatever they're required to pay. Automatically, I think Swift paid $30 an hour for detention pay, so he get detention pay for 2 hours. Now, when you're pulling broker load, you have to make sure that's in the rate card. Whatever your hourly rate is, $75 an hour for detention, $100 an hour, $150 an hour, whatever it is. When the broker send over the rate card, you gotta make sure the detention time is on the rate card. Detention time after an hour or detention time after 2 hours, detention is $75 an hour or $100 an hour or whatever it is. Now, working for a fleet owner that's leased onto one of these broker companies, you can get the rate card as a company driver. If the fleet owner, first of all, when you show interest in working for that fleet owner, you need to ask him, well, obviously you're going to ask him if he paid percentage or mileage. You need to ask him, where is the truck leased onto? If it's a truck that's leased onto a carrier. Whatever carrier it's leased onto, Ask him, do they pull the loads directly from the broker or how they get the loads? Now you should be asking him detention time. How do you determine detention time? And after how long does it pay? Some brokers pay after 3 hours. Some pay after 4 hours. Some pay after 2 hours. After 1 hour. It all depends. Now, once you get that information, you decide how much detention is. The hours, how much hours they pay after. What's the maximum amount of hours they pay detention time for? Do they pay a layover? All the brokers are different. So all the brokers not going to pay detention time. All the brokers not going to pay a layover. So these are the stuff that's different when you're pulling for a fleet owner. When you're working for a fleet owner that's leased on to a brokerage company versus working for a fleet owner that's leased onto a mega carrier. Now, on the pay, percentage versus mileage. You don't want to chase miles like that. Because some days are going to be good and some days are going to be bad. And I see it on YouTube. I see people complaining about it. I see them dropping videos about it. And I just shake my head, because if I'm mentoring somebody, say I have a few drivers that call me day to day if they have a question about a load, about a route, stuff like that. Now, if one of those guys call me and say, hey, I'm thinking about go working for this fleet owner, he got his truck lease on at XYZ company, he gonna pay me mileage. Now, I'll probably stop him right there in the conversation, because I'm gonna do some research on the XYZ company and see what type of loads they're pulling, as far as if they're pulling direct broker load, if they're pulling on direct customer load, stuff like that. Now, if you're pulling direct broker load like I'm pulling, I'm going to suggest to him, I'm not going to tell you don't work for this fleet owner, because I would never tell a person don't work for a certain fleet owner, because I wouldn't want somebody to do that to me. But I'm going to suggest to him, talk to the fleet owner and see if it's possible for him to pay you percentage. And the reason I say percentage is because running these broker loads, you might get a load going 50 miles that's paying $800. Now, if you getting paid mileage pay, how much are you gonna make going 50 miles? So these are the reason why you need to consider the deal you're signing up for. If you're getting percentage, a lot of fleet owners out here, if you have experience, they'll pay you 50% after expenses, which means after fuel, after tolls, whatever has come out that the company they lease onto is taking out. Those are stuff you need to also ask the fleet owner, what does the carrier take out? But you'll work out a lot better running for percentage than trying to chase miles. When you're trying to chase miles, you're trying to run 2,500 to 3,000 miles a week. Sometimes you're trying to do more than that to make the money you would make running 1,500 miles if you was on the right percentage deal. Now, if you coming out here and you're going to run for a fleet owner that's paying percentage and you don't have a lot of experience, he's going to pay you a lower percent. He might pay you 30% or maybe 25%. I know one guy, he paid 25%. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends on the experience you have. But if you have a lot of experience, man, you get a good percentage deal. That will work out a lot better than running chasing miles.